Welcome to Smart Conserver.
Conservation can also take the form of saving your money in your pockets and seeking substitutes. Substitutes mean to use or add in place of. Because we're speaking of planters, I know you must have an idea of what you can use as a planter pot substitute. I will give you some ideas of these substitutes. Believe me, sometimes the substitute planter pots are stronger and if decorated or painted can look unique and better than the store-bought planter pots. I have bought some planter pots, but majority of the times I like to make it myself as I love the unique things. Remember, anything that can hold a plant is a planter pot. Sometimes I want very much to make my own planter pots, but I can't find what I really want to use to make it. Let's look at what you can use to make these planter pots. The first thing, plastic bottles. These plastic bottles come in various sizes and colors. Get creative, man, and use them. I've used the big plastic bottles to plant my pineapples, or at times you get a plant and you want to just plant it immediately and you have nothing to put it in. Just cut a plastic bottle, fill it with dirt and plant away. The second substitute can be the coconut husk. Coconut husk are the rough exterior shell of the coconut. While the husks are not used for food, like the meat and the liquid found within the exterior shell, the husk can be used in several ways, including creating enriched plant potting soil, and it can be used as chips. These can be used to provide ground cover for flower bed and also as a planter for your precious plants. My coconut husk planter pots cost me nothing. I already have the coconut tree and I use the husk as planter pots in two ways. I use it to affix orchids to my trees and also as a hanging planter pot. Yes, I made the hanging ones myself. In fact, I have about one or two awaiting to find the right plants to fit in it. Whenever I find some time, I would grate the husk as well, just to add it to my soil. Overall, this is one of my easiest planter pots to make. The third one is the concrete planter pots. Couple of years ago, I purchased two unique planter pots. They look like rocks and they would give the appearance of being very heavy. I liked the look in my garden that they had and I attempted to buy another one. However, due to the increase in prices, I decided to make it myself. I couldn't make it like what it was originally, so I just made one out of concrete. I decided to make a round concrete planter pot. I used cement, sand, and a little colorant. I placed the mixture in a rubberized ball and add a small plastic container with stones in it. After drying, I bore two holes in the bottom and I plant my oxalises in and placed it in my garden. I wouldn't recommend making such a planter pot that requires constant movement. Don't make these out of concrete, as at some point with the movement, the lifting, putting here, putting there, at some point it may fall and break. I have made a mold from cardboard and I add some hot water PVC pipes and a cloth in it to make a concrete boat planter. My mini succulents love these and they are doing great in them. Another concrete planter I have made is in the form of a hand. I can tell you it's time consuming to make that hand one, but when it is complete it can be a beauty. It's also delicate too, because if it falls it will shatter. Just make it out of concrete if you can and place it where you want it, but be mindful, don't move it around. The fourth planter pot you can get is the PVC pipe planters. When I just started growing strawberries, I saw it on the internet where I could plant my strawberries in a very large PVC pipe. And I can't tell you, man, it flourished. And it was easy watering, as I just add the water to the top and all the strawberry plants got watered. After losing my strawberries, I placed this self-made planter out of the PVC pipe in a corner, and due to the sun and the rain, because there was no dirt in it, I didn't have any plant in it, it got crystallized. Now I plant my strawberry in stackables. It's doing fine, but I think I missed the PVC pipe. The fifth thing that you can use to create your planter pots are wood. I have used wood to make vertical garden and even to place my orchids on. If I find a wood that has a hole in it, then I can plant my succulent, any succulent that I desire. Sometimes whenever a tree is cut, the inside can be hollow. You know that is a planter as well, right? When you're planting these things, it can give your garden that look. It makes it appear to be one with nature. Especially when I go to the beach, I look for unusual driftwood. These I can wash it off and hang my orchids on, and then hang them in a tree. I love to see the vertical gardens, and I have made steps to create a few, but what I'm using pallets. I'll show you what I have seen and liked, and then I'll show you in another vlog how I make mine. I've started, and the one that I'm planning to make, it will be all wood with planters hanging, some solar lights, and a little decor to add whimsy. Just stay tuned to the vlog. As soon as I'm done, I'll show you. Another thing that you can use as a planter pot, which is the sixth thing, are shells. Boy, I can tell you, one of the hardest planters to find on any beach can be those big conch shells. But man, they make great planters. All you need is the right plant or succulent to put in it. Anything you have, you can use as well as a planter, and that's my seventh thing. I've seen plants in cups, old shoes, old clothing, old handbag, tires, even in old bathtubs. You name it, I've seen it. I've never used those things though. The ones that I just mentioned, I've never used them. But I love the idea. I have used, however, broken clay pots as planters, and I welcome any unusual planter pot I can create or find once I feel it can add whimsy to my garden. So for me, I won't use the tires, because the tires won't add anything to my decor. Probably if my yard was I had a big yard space, I would add a couple tires and probably paint them. If you feel you must buy a planter pot, go ahead, do so. But I realize though, they can be a bit expensive nowadays, especially if you want the large ones. The aim here is to conserve and add a little style to your garden. You can do so by thinking outside of the box. It adds that unique touch to your garden. How will you add that unique touch? Tell me in the comments.
You have come to the end of another series. Join us next time for more ways to conserve.